This will kind of help us figure out where to put our wood grain. In fact, since we're working on the fence, why don't we begin our shading process here too? I know, right? And I'm just gonna, while you're erasing, I'm just gonna give you kind of a visual layout on what to do. Now the trick to shading is kind of mimicking the natural behavior of whatever you're shading, not shaving. We're not shaving anything in class today. Okay, okay. um, these posts, they naturally are up and down. So your wood grain is going to be up and down. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see what I did. No. These scammers keep trying to call me. I'm like, no. All right. So, we're just going to kind of establish the natural behavior of your wood here. And then you let me know when you're ready for the next step. Now leave some space between your lines because this is way back in the background. So you don't have to worry about fine detail. And we're literally going to go horizontal lines on your actual planks. This is called textured line. You can create textures using different line patterns to make something look more realistic or more three-dimensional. And there's no specific rhyme or reason when it comes to putting these lines down. You just want to make sure that since you are in the background here, that you don't get too crazy with detail. Let me know when you're ready for the next step, okay? Beauteous. All right, so the trick to drawing something realistically is taking your light source into consideration. So your moon is here, right? So anything closest to your moon is going to have a lighter amount of shadow, and anything away from your moon is actually going to have a darker shadow. I do want to stress that the shadow shifts. Shadow does not move all in one same direction at any given time. It shifts depending on where your light source is placed. So let me show you. This side of your wood plank is closest to your moon. So you are going to shade the side that is away from your moon. So just copy what I do as I move in this direction. This is going to be your shadow. As you get closer to your moon, your shadow is going to get thinner. That's what I mean by shadow kind of shifting and becoming a little bit different due to the placement of where your light source is. It's going to help define how thick your shadow is, where it's going to be positioned. Good thing to keep in mind for there. And then you let me know when you're done with this post on this side of the paper. Excellent. The underside here of your wood planks, they're going to have shadow, just the underside. So just do the bottom part of wood plank number 1 and number 2. Now this rule is also going to apply to side number 2, because all these wood planks are facing away from the moon on the bottom here. So just continue that shading process and then let me know when you're done adding shadow to all the undersides of your planks. Perfect. I'm going to very thinly put in a shadow underneath the moon. Very, very thinly sketch in the edge of your plank facing the moon. Very thin. Because what's going to happen is we're going to erase these pen marks. You want the edge to at least be visible. But do it thinly, very thinly, to the tops of your planks and to the sides that face the moon. Very thinly. You won't be able to see it very well here because I have pencil line on my paper. Now your moon's here, but your plank is facing away from the moon on this side. Instead of your shadow being like it was on the left-hand side of your paper, your shadow's going to shift to the right-hand side of your paper. That's what I mean by it getting kind of tricky. Now, if you have more planks to shadow that are on the right side of your paper, shade them and then let me know when you're ready for the next step. I'm literally erasing the areas that we have just applied ink so you can kind of see what's going on here. I do not suggest you start erasing until you're completely done with your artwork, because your ink might need some time to dry. If it's a rollerball ink like mine or like a gel pilot, it will smear your paper. You might see that happen over here. See, it's starting to smear. I just want you to see what's going on here. And that is how you do your wood grain. Let me know when you're ready for the pumpkins. We're going to move at a curve. Don't even worry about putting curved lines into your pumpkin's face. That's okay, because we're literally going to go over it with Sharpie. It's going to disappear. When you get to the middle of your pumpkin, shift your lines towards the right of your paper to emphasize the kind of globe-like shape of your pumpkin's body. And we're going to do that with every single pumpkin. This is layer number 1. This is called filler shadow. Let me know when you're done adding your filler shadow. Beauteous. Now, your moon's way over here, right? So, the top of your pumpkin is going to be light because it's closest to the light source. But the bottom of your pumpkin is not going to be as light. We're going to add, halfway up the pumpkin's body, we're going to add an additional layer of curved lines. on all of our pumpkins. Let me know when you're ready for the next step. Yes. Third layer, halfway down from the area where you added your second layer, you're going to chop that in half and add your third layer on the very bottom end of your pumpkin. So you're not going as high, but you are repeating the step on the base of your pumpkin's body. And then you'll chop that section down in half again and add layer number 4. And I'll show you because it's a little bit easier to see visually. And I'm literally just feathering in my line on the top here. And if you're worried about, the cracks and crevices of your pumpkin, you know how like they have like a bump and then they kind of have like a divot into the body? Just add a secondary layer where those divots should appear. Just be very sparingly about it. I'll take this off and show you the Sharpie part. If you want to add all of this grass, totally optional. You don't really need that to make it a final piece. But your eyes are going to pop with Sharpie. Do you happen to have Sharpie at home at all? The face, the tree, and the bats. And you can feather in your moon. And that, my friend, is how to draw an autumn night gone batty.